T.B.Photo X1.5 to FX, and welcome back to this overdue video, I might add. And this time it's gonna be a little bit of a different thing. Well, it's spring, and that means that it's a little bit nicer to be outside doing photography. But in this instance, I know that there's a lot of brilliant YouTube channels out there who are doing, you know, so-called photo walks or whatever, that they're out and about and filming while they're taking snapshots with their camera of choice. And I thought, well, that doesn't look so difficult, so why don't I have a go at it? And the format, if you have looked at some other famous YouTubers like PavezGoye and yeah, a few others, like Negative Feedback as well, links in the description below to those channels. But anyway, what those guys are usually doing is that they are the ones that are taking still pictures, and they are lucky enough to have a little bit of a crew with them who are, you know, taking a video of them at the same time. But unfortunately, at the moment I don't have that luxury, so what do I do instead? Well, most cameras that I'm using, SLRs, do have hot shoes, so I can always put something in that hot shoe. And with a little bit of, common knowledge or whatever you want to call it, I use my little Panasonic action cam. This is the HX-A1M, and it works fairly decently actually. It's a wide angle action cam, so it's a close, wide angle, so you get a little bit of a fisheye effect, but it's better than nothing, right? And for this first one, I actually just I have some pictures that I've been taken with the camera that I'm going to introduce now. It's basically both from here in Gavle, when I've been just around town and so on, and then I went on a day trip to Stockholm, and well, there is a little island right next to the National Museum where there's a little bit, some boats or houseboats that are anchored, Skeppsholmen. So, but the weather was atrocious, so it was a very windy day. So we actually went to Uppsala instead, and the weather wasn't much better there that day, so there are a few images from Stockholm and Uppsala in this little photo walk, but the majority is from locally here in town. But I know that I'm gonna do at least 2 more of these videos in the future, or in the near future. One is actually from the 1st of May, and the other one is another where I'm more specifically around in the local neighborhood. But the difference is that I'm going to introduce the camera now. I thought I'll go with something a little bit retro. So it's the Nikon's first AF camera, the F-501. And as you can see, I used it with the the Panasonic, like so. So this is how I walked around with it. And the lens that I currently used most on it, I thought I'd need something that is contemporary with this camera, and this is probably one of the most common. You can go basically to any flea market and you basically find this lens. It's the AF Nikkor 70-210 f4 to 5.6. It's a push-pull zoom, and it's one of Nikon's first autofocus. And I used it with this what is it? I don't know if this is a patent part or an original item, but it's a metal glare shield or lens hood. It's the HN24, and it works perfectly for this camera's 62 millimeter filter thread. Let's see if I can put it on. Let's see if I can put it on now without it making any fuss. There we go. So basically this was the main setup that I used, but I noticed that 70 millimeters, sometimes that was a little bit too telly for what my needs were. So I usually went with this set, or rather I can just... I usually used this setup, the 70 to 210, but when I needed that a little bit more wide angle, I opted for this one. It's the AF Nikkor 35 to 135, and it's 3.5 to 4.5. And on this one I also have a rubber lens hood on it. It folds off very nicely, and this is also a 62 millimeter filter thread on it, and it's this is a twist zoom with a little bit of a macro feature. So yeah, when I didn't use the 7200, let's see now, there we go. It was basically this configuration, as you can see here, and it works fairly decently actually. So that was a little bit of the system that I had with me on these photo walks. But then also, since these are 35mm film cameras, I also needed some film. Well, what I majorly use is this. It's a Kodacolor. It's a 200 ISO 24 frame film. It's and this one is expired. Just this roll was expired in 2001, but it also is it says here, promotional use only, Kodak, promotional use only, official film of the Olympic Games. So that's what I primarily used, but I looked at on YouTube and I found a very interesting video made by Forest Hill Film Labs, Travis Mortz, and he apparently we are the same age. He was also born in 1989. But anyway, he did a brilliant video about digital versus analog, and he is a hardcore analog film shooter. And when he talked about just getting a basic kit together to shoot film, and that it's very economical if you process the film yourself, and a film stock that he recommended is actually a film stock, or rather a film brand that I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with, and it's no other than Fujifilm. This is Fujicolor C200. It's a 36 exposure film roll, film for color print, and yeah, you know, I bought a brick of 10 on eBay. They're not that expensive. Bought it from Germany, I believe it was. It smells a little bit like old garbage, but that's the smell of film. Rotting fruit, or vegetables, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, these are the two film stocks that I primarily use. I do actually when I develop, I do it at home in the laundry room. When I develop the Kodacolor, I basically push it a little bit with C41 process. I use Tetanol, and I normally, with the way I do it, it's 8 minutes that you're supposed to process it with the developer. I usually add half a minute to 30 extra seconds with it. But I find it working good for me. Jump cut, phone ringing. And we are back. Well, that's life for you, that the phone rings off the hook when you are doing other things. But anyway. Well, what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna stop yakking about this, and we're gonna take a look at the B-roll, and I'll show you a little bit of the pictures and the photos that I took when I wasn't filming with the Panasonic. I'll just add them in the end of this video, so I'll just leave it over to the B-roll from the Panasonic. And as always, this is Tobias Bergström from T.B.Photo X1.5 to FX, and I'd like to see you guys in the next video. And as always, as you're supposed to say in this YouTube malarkey, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, all the best. See you in the next video.